What's up, everybody? You're listening and watching to another episode of the Bodacious Rant with Burn and Rye. And I am so excited to get this. Let's just skip through all the pleasantries. We're talking more She-Hulk, episode 8, the penultimate right before the finale. And of course, this is a spoiler episode, so guys, ring the bell, give us a like to for support and to stay up to date, and just subscribe. So you guys are never too far away from us. We always appreciate that. But finally, it happened, Burn. I was so happy to finally see it happen. When you messaged me this morning about it, I was like, did this happen though? Is that what we're talking about? And yeah, Daredevil finally showed up, and I think this is definitely the best episode yet, in my opinion. A lot of people are saying it's their favorite Marvel episode in general for all the shows, which is like, that's a bold statement. It's very bold.
I mean, when I had messaged you about my excitement of the character that we've been waiting for all these episodes, I was talking about Leapfrog, actually. They finally, the fan favorite, the much anticipated first time live action reveal of Leapfrog. I mean, I think we were all just waiting at the tip of the tongues. Just we couldn't wait. Just all of us fans out. There are dozens of us, right? Okay, dozens.
You know what, Burn? As much as I want to bash that statement, I'm like, you know what? You do you. You want to be a leapfrogger? You be a leapfrogger. You be a leaper.
Rip it and rip it. That's what we all say.
It almost sounds like a sexual assault thing. Like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of leapers out. It's like, I'm sorry, but
oh, God. But yes, still Daredevil.
But that was a pretty great intro, though. Just Leapfrog being a total dipshit, and of course, like he goes to She-Hulk because she's with her being like the primary lawyer in like superhero affairs. But that sucked that it was Luke that made the suit, and I was like, wait a second, how did he make a defective thing? Even I was like, that can't be right. Or, maybe the guy's lying because he know Luke is like a big person in that world and stuff, and maybe he has money. So I thought that was that kind of scheme. But then when she went to him, that was hilarious. Just their little exchange of, you know what, Luke, I hate to be that person, but there is a client that, there's no lawsuit yet, but you do need to claim some of his responsibilities for his defective suits. Like, I don't make defective suits. I just love his defense. Like, the guy who plays Luke is so great. Like, everything about him, his voice, his mannerisms, just his whole attitude in general, it's like, damn. Like, if I'm going to deal with a superhero like Taylor, I would hate to get on his bad side because he is making your suits and stuff, especially when I loved his little quip about he's making her gala suit. Just, the suits speak to me. Oh wait? Oh, you're saying I can't wear it? And just tears it off. I was like, I was with Jen on that one, just, like, how dare you? And then she's like, I'm going to destroy you.
Such a sassy bitch. I love him so much. His like insults are amazing. I wish I like wrote them down so I could remember them, but I know he called her like a giant greasy, like, I forgot what he
I gotta look. I'm gonna rewatch the part real quick because it's so great. Like, what he says to her is so mean. Even my mom listening is like, oh my God, what did he just call her? I was like, this, because he's so pissed with her. Like,
just get out of here, you tragedy. Like, oh my gosh. Like,
yeah. Bye, tragedy. Yeah. I'm gonna take you down. This is not wherever you get the clothes from.
It's just, man, the hits just keep on coming, and he does not let up, and I, we love him for it. He's the drip broker for a reason. So he's got to lay down the law when She-Hulk comes barreling in to stab him in the back. As he described.
And it's not that she wanted to. She tried. I did respect that she tried to excuse herself. Because, like, he's making my suits. I'm not trying to piss off this guy. But, man, her boss is just kind of a dick. Just, like, completely just doesn't want to support her. He never, like, really gives her a bone. He just says, deal with it. It's like, but I guess that's a lot of bosses in general, whether it be lawyer stuff, whatever. So
yeah, I mean, she is a corporate lawyer, so yeah, it's kind of one of those things where she is at the mercy of the clients, where it's like, yeah, like they pay real good money, so we have to do what they ask.
Yeah, no, I can't. I put the subtitles on. I can't find it. I'm gonna have to rewatch this episode just because that exchange was so great. I just love that you're blacklisted, reported, you're done. You'll never get another scene from anybody. It's like, damn, you don't have to burn her completely, but. And then I think this was definitely the strongest episode, like for a lawyer show perspective, just because it's like Lucas representing himself. Of course, I'm representing myself, Your Honor. And Matt comes in just all like, oh, I couldn't find parking. I'm just kidding. My driver got lost. Like, it's just such a. I feel like this is such an improvement over the Netflix one. Like, I think because it's not so dark and stuff, they had a little more fun with the dialogue, and he was. I mean, I know I was a little worried about the Disney treatment with Daredevil and like Kingpin, and there is talks that Punisher's coming back, and like basically the Netflix dark side of Marvel. But it worked for me this episode. I loved his quips, and again, he still got it. They're a little back and forth on the principles of like being a product that they have to kind of go after. They need to expose they need to have a list of people for testimony. But him being Daredevil was like, no, we can't expose privacy because they are superheroes. Like, we can't do that. Just because you choose to reveal yourself to the world doesn't mean you have to. Like, we have to.
Yeah.
So I thought that was just great. I mean, it was a lot of good points in their arguments. So I really liked that little exchange.
And a very quick mention of the Sokovia Accords being repealed. Like, that was just kind of one of those questions that I've been having, since that happened in Civil War. So I was like, where's like the status of superheroes like now? Like, are they just like allowed, or do they have to register? Like, what is the deal? And we haven't really gotten a clear answer, but now we did, like in his little like testimony that we got there, which again, everything from his entrance coming in to his legal back and forth with Jen, like all that was played so great. Like, he just came in and it just felt like putting on like a shoe. Like, he just slipped right back into the role, like he didn't even miss a beat from the Netflix show. And man, I couldn't be more than happy.
Yeah, I mean, I never lost faith in him, especially from his tiny little cameo in Spider-Man: No Way Home. Just because he still had the attitude, he's still swarthy and stuff. And this one again, he just proved that he's still great, and I just love that part in general. But whatchamacallit. And then their chemistry really worked for me this episode, because I know you ask somebody, especially who's like a super fan of comics and stuff, they're like, they would never get together. It's like, I'm pretty sure they have at one point, because they're both the kind of heroes that do hook up occasionally. They get around here and there.
They do get around.
Yeah, so it's only a matter of time before they got together, and I was loving it. Tatiana Maslany and Charlie Cox really sold that chemistry, that kind of partners in crime, so to speak. And even though they didn't know they were like, she didn't know he was Daredevil yet, but I loved her fourth wall breaks this time, where she's like, I don't know, is it me? I'm kind of digging this guy. Like, I like him. And, the Appletini was great. The green, like, when he passed it over, and then I forgot what she said about him being blind or something. It's just like, oh, yeah, I know how to dress myself. Like, I am wearing pants, right? And it's like, you clever son of a bitch. You know how to get people.
I mean, that Murdoch charm just is so thick. Like, he just can't put it away. Like, stop it, Matthew. You're a Catholic. This is wrong. This is a sin.
He's not a good Catholic. I mean, he's Daredevil. He's a guy in a devil suit, so that's already like, he's not on a good side with Catholics.
But yeah, that whole exchange with them at the bar, that was so good. Like, them just, you can tell like they immediately have chemistry with each other, which is great, and something that I personally hoped for when it was announced that we would probably be seeing him in the show. It's like, man, it would be totally great if like them two got together. But the way they like sort of connected felt really natural, and it seems to stem from a place where like they understand each other. She doesn't know at this point that he is a superhero, but he is one of the only other persons in the world that sort of understands her situation, where you're trying to lead a little bit of a double life, like trying to figure out like where you fall in the lines of like superherodom and like what you're doing with like your work, everyday workspace. So when he gives her that like sort of like nugget of truth, telling her like, hey, when the society fails people, like Jen is here with the law to help them, and when the law like fails them, She-Hulk can help them. And that's kind of like something really cool, that it's like, yeah, that this is who Daredevil is. Like, he has a lot of like values and virtues that he lives by, and for him to like pass that on to her, and for her to like hear that, and sort of like, you can tell like she like sort of like is on her way to, I think, to becoming more of a superhero than we've seen up to this point, because she hasn't really been like a superhero that saves anybody.
No, but I mean, the only complication with that is that because she is She-Hulk, if she did save people like that, it just puts her more in a legal issues. That's kind of how I was thinking, watching this show over this season and seeing how kind of like the lawyer stuff really works. It's like, shit, she technically can't because everybody knows who she is. So it's like it would tie right back to Jen. So it is a little easier coming from him because he's a mass vigilante. So, but no, it is. I do appreciate he's just trying to like give her reassurance, like it's okay to be both. You just have to find your balance, and you got to remember you're still you're a person like everybody else, but you're a good lawyer. You can do good, help people as Jen, but then also help people as She-Hulk. Like it's okay. So I like that piece of guidance. Like I know she's gotten from her cousin and now him. Who else is? I feel like there's other people that have been. Oh, Mallory and Nikki have been giving her advice, and Abomination last episode with that self help group. So, she's trying to get. She's been getting a good amount of support for the most part, or scratch that. She's been getting the little support through all the crap she's been going through this season. So, I really like that. And man, the action this episode did not fail at all. And that was another thing I was kind of worried about. I was like, how do I feel about Daredevil being CGI? And man, I don't know. It kind of made it better. What did you think about that, to be honest? Like, I was digging it.
Yeah, I mean, like they used it really well, in the moments where like when they're in that like parking garage and he sort of does some parkour and scales down there. It's like okay, like it felt natural and it felt like it really worked with the character. None of it felt like anything sort of like stood out in like a weird way where you're just kind of like what that doesn't make sense. Like it made sense for the character and it felt very in line with what we had seen with the Netflix shows, bearing in mind that those had a little bit of a lesser budget than these Disney Plus shows have, so they have a little bit more room to work with now, and that'll be interesting to see like how they continue that on in his own series, like how much they utilize that, because I mean you can do a little bit more, but hopefully like stay practical where you can, and the balance that they struck here I think really worked, from his fight scenes being really like done practically, and just the little bit of like the window dressing is just like CGI, like just that moment of him like scaling down the building and stuff like that I feel like that balance works really well. You don't want to go too far in one way or the other.
No, I think they found a good balance between it. It's just because we had the rooftop stuff, and it was the first time someone just took his mask straight up, just straight off him, and it's like, oh, Matt, you're like, what are you doing here? And it's just, I'm Daredevil. It's like, you went with the ketchup and mustard suit, and that was a thing. I've seen the Daredevil Born Again comics and all that stuff. That suit looked god awful in the comics. I'm not a fan of it, but seeing it in the show, I thought really worked for me. I thought it was actually a nice change from the bloody red suit that he had throughout the show, which is still one of my favorite suits in general. But I like that they kind of did that with this one, and we got to, and of course with Daredevil, I appreciate the director and the writers really be like, you know what, let's give a homage to those fans and give him a hallway scene again, which, dude, the fact that he had his Billy sticks that could do the little like grappling thing, like the zip line thing he has, kind of like the Ben Affleck movie. I was like, oh, I was just like, yep, that's the suit. That's Daredevil right there.
Yeah, because that is one of the things that was like sort of missing from the Netflix show. Like when he used the Billy clubs, they were more just clubs. Like they weren't really connected by that wire. So to get that here and in that action sequence in the mini hallway fight that they had, again another little homage to the Netflix shows where they're pretty famous for their hallway fights. It was nice to get that little bit of a nod, and also like his musical theme from the Netflix show, like they played that in like a little moment there in the show to kind of say like, yeah, this is kind of like that character. Again, we really don't know like just how much the Netflix shows are going to be canon, but I mean this goes to show that there is more to it than it just being like a completely different thing.
Yeah, because I know there's been on statements that this is kind of like a reboot for the character, but I mean, I don't think it'll be a clean reboot because again, they talked about his history that Luke made a couple new suits for him. This one being the yellow and red one. So I'm curious to see what else he made for him. Just hopefully in the show we'll get a little bit more of that. But also, I mean, we haven't really said anything yet, but Jen's suit was pretty clean too. Looked very, it just had a great athletic look to it. Nothing too superhero-esque, something kind of casual, but it still works. Like when I see She-Hulk suit up like that, I was like, oh shit, superhero mode, here we go. And them two fighting together at Leapfrogger's compound, I guess I would call it. His stupid,
The lily pad.
stupid. Oh god, it was like such a bad comic book villain. Like, dude, you're horrible. But they had fun with it, which I thought was
Amazing,
great.
yeah. It's like a just
The
perfect throwaway
henchmen,
villain.
the henchmen versus the goons thing was great. With just
Yeah.
henchmen believe in the cause. Goons are just paid for the paycheck. Like, okay, I guess that makes sense. But oh man, again, just the chemistry continued, and after they totally kicked ass. Him with his martial arts stuff was great, and her just being a total Hulk, just beating through everything, no problem, taking hits without cause. It's like, damn, they're a good combination. I'm digging this even more. And then to top it all off, they both got some, which I was like, oh, thank God, you both need this. I mean, more her for sure, just because, she had that one dude, Josh, who turned out to be such a douchebag, and who kind of sold her out to that Hulk King. It was kind of nice to see her actually have a genuine connection with somebody this season. And I mean, it sucks that he's all the way in New York and he's going back. And it's like, God damn it. You guys could be a thing. I want to see this for the MCU, but who knows? Maybe we will in Daredevil Born Again, or maybe next episode. I don't know. I really like that though. That for her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is sort of like in a way like a superhero date night for them. Like them going in and taking down Leapfrog was like, I guess they were flirting, here and there, like him with this whole like, I can hear the heartbeats, and like I can hear your heartbeat too, and she's just like falling like into the trap, like, what? No, I'm like, I'm healthy. Like, it's like, again their back and forth was just so great, like that entire time. So yeah, I mean, like, of course, like Matt's a great guy, and like we know now that Jen's a really cool person, so it's like, yeah, of course, why wouldn't we want them to get together, and yeah, like that, it's sort of culminating into that was sort of nice. And it was nice it's nice to see Jen have like a genuine connection after all like the crap that she's sort of been throughout the season.
Yeah, like just her dating life has been total shit this season. And just when it gets really good for her, fuck, that night, this ending sucked. Like, not in a bad, like, writing way or anything, but goddamn, just have all her shit exposed at the gala. Her dress looking amazing, too. And I thought it was, like, I didn't know if that was told or not, but I thought when she was getting the award, I was like, oh, that's cool. A bunch of women are getting it. I thought it was kind of, like, maybe just her doing it, but the fact that, like, Mallory and all these other women were in it, I feel like her face is like, oh, it's for multiple women. Like, okay, I'll take that, I guess. But
yeah, like, it isn't just her for doing like a great job. It's like, oh no, we're just gonna recognize all the women. Just sort of like this blanket like thing that we're doing, just to sort of just like posture and not have it really mean anything. So that was kind of like, man, that does kind of suck, because again, she does want to be recognized for being a good lawyer, but for this to sort of be just like a participation trophy, just to sort of like say, like for them to sort of pat themselves in the back and be like, look, we're recognizing women, like that just kind of sucks. Like, man.
Yeah, I even feel like Mallory was kind of like she had kind of like an eat shit grin, like, just to like, okay, yeah, I'm here accepting the award. And I liked her little thing of like, oh, I have to deal with people that always ask me, what's it like being a female lawyer? It's like, oh, damn, that's a good point. But man, this is the first time we see her really go She-Hulk on people. Not even on people, just the whole situation. Like, all her fucking stuff put on blast by intelligentsia, I guess. So I thought it was like a Reddit forum, but now I think we were talking about that a couple episodes ago. That's like, no, they're an actual group who are like just anti-superhero, especially anti-her. And I think that dude Todd had everything to do with it. There's no way he's just like a bystander. You know what I mean? He's been such a douchebag ever since like episode 5.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like this guy knows something.
Yeah, I mean, like, he just keeps popping up, like in places where, like, why would he even be there? Like, yeah, we know he's like a rich douchebag, but why is he spending so much time like around this like law firm? Like him being there with, like, palling it around with the boss, and then him like calling her and like trying to get her services, like that quick scene of them two like having his sort of like dinner date with her, like another like second chance. It's just again just so gross.
Scumbag.
And then it's like, and then again it's like, why is he there at that gala, at the end? So a lot of these patterns are lining up. So I guess maybe next week we'll get the reveal of like him probably being maybe not in charge of intelligence yet, but like at least involved in some way, shape, or form. Like I'm expecting that to drop, because again, like he's just in all these places that were like a regular person wouldn't be. So that just brings a lot of suspicion. But yeah, that whole sequence of, oh sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, you're good. I'm sorry. I was listening. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, no, I was just gonna say, yeah, the whole airing out of like her personal business, that was just really gross to see. Like that was awful. And like this whole like them like leaking like a sex tape that she wasn't aware of, like this sort of like revenge porn like thing that they're doing, that was really disgusting. And I'm so kind of surprised that Marvel went there with it, like going all the way with like, like this is what they're gonna try to do to her, like, and ruin her reputation, and just to get a rise out of her, and tarnish her name. Like, man, like it just makes you really dislike whoever this group is, like, immediately. I mean, not that we didn't before, but there's really no coming back from doing something like this. Like, it's truly a despicable act.
Yeah, I even felt pretty violated by that. And it had nothing to do with me, but it's just like I felt violated for her. Like, that was just something very personal, something she thought was real, but clearly it was all in a game just to really just, yeah, like you said, tarnish her name. And it was horrible. I mean, I don't blame her for doing that, even though Mallory and Nikki were both like, Jen, don't, just like kind of like calm down. At the same time, I don't know if I trust Nikki either, because no one, like, she hasn't really done much to truly help her throughout this season. I feel like really thinking about it, I'm like, what has she done besides maybe just kind of, I guess, listen? She hasn't really tried to give her the best support. I don't know. I don't trust her, and I definitely don't trust Mallory. Even though Mallory said, Jen, don't mess with the wall. I think she could be on it, because she does know Todd too. That is her client. So it's like, where does this go, kind of thing.
Yeah, like, who are Jen's real friends, and who are the ones that are secretly working behind her back to sort of, again, like, ruin her chances of being a superhero lawyer. It's like, yeah, it'll be curious to see like who is actually behind it, especially because of that scene, with Nikki and Mallory, where they find the website, and Mallory sort of tries to brush it off, like that's sort of like not really an important thing. So yeah, there's got to be more to it there, I think.
Yeah, but and then obviously she's gonna be on the other side of the courtroom. I feel like next episode, where she's been defending people and fighting for people. Someone's gonna have to stand up for her. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that Charlie Cox comes back for that, just to be like, you know what, I cancel my flight. I gotta help you out, kind of thing. But I don't know how I doubt they'll do that, but that's my wish. We will have to see. Anything else in this episode that popped out at you or anything, Bern?
I mean, just to cap it off at the end, after she, we kind of say like the savage, She-Hulk, where it seems like she did really give into her rage. It calls back to sort of the not like the thing that Bruce was trying to like impart on her, when he was saying that once they see you as a monster, that's sort of like the only way they're going to be able to look at you. So yeah, like it's one of those things where like we have seen that she's been able to control herself for the most part, but yeah, like his advice kind of like came true. It's like you really have to sort of like be like reel yourself in, because these hits can come from anywhere, and now that she's a superhero, like she has a huge target on her back. So again, it's one of those things where it's like it's coming back to bite her, where she wasn't like so eager to listen to his advice, but maybe it's one of those things where, yeah, like she was able to keep control for the most part, but now like they found a way to get into her weakness, and she's kind of like paying the price for that.
Yeah, they found her tipping point, and next episode, I kind of hope they make it a little bit longer, just to try and really. I don't want it to be super quick. Not that this episode didn't feel quick, but it's one of those things for a finale like that, they better drag it out a little bit. I would say hopefully like 45 minutes maybe, but who knows? We'll have to wait till next week to find out. But very, very good stuff. Guys, what did you think of this episode? Did you love it as much as we did? Are you excited for next week? Or are you kind of just like, eh? But we would love to know in the comments. But until next time, guys, we got a couple great things coming out this week, which was Byrne reminded us yesterday, or the other day, with Werewolf by Night, Hellraiser on Hulu. So if you guys have Hulu and you like Clive Barker's stuff, definitely worth a watch. And I say check out the original too. It's messed up, but it's pretty good. I like the original. Just creepy stuff.
I'm gonna have to. I've never seen any of the Hellraiser movies, so I don't know if I should go into this one without seeing anything, or if I should at least watch the very first one. I feel like I have to, right?
I mean, it's cool to watch the first one just because it's the original one, but this is a new one, so I feel like kind of like with how well Hulu handled Prey, maybe you don't have to watch the original for this one. This could be like the Prey for Hellraiser franchise, where it's like a completely new thing for people. So I don't know, we'll have to see. But we also got Rings of Power coming out, House of the Dragon, and then like I said, Black Adam's coming out very soon. Halloween Ends, and a bunch of other stuff, guys. So as always, we'll see. We'll stay tuned for the next one, and stay bodacious, and keep on ranting for us.
Yeah, everybody, as always, be good, be safe, and we'll catch you on the next one.